What do you actually need to know in order to build and leverage AI workflow in your daily work? Today, I'm going to answer this exact question. But it is not just a simple breakdown. It is the start of a complete and practical course where we will build together a AI workflow with Cloud Code. Here is the core principle of the full course. We will go back to the base principles because AI is not magic. It has its own logic, and when we can understand it, we can build our own custom workflow without relying on rigid tools on other opinions. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm Michele. I'm an engineer with experience both in corporate world and as solopreneur. So what we are building in this course, we are not just looking at theoretical slide, but we are making practice, and we will build an end-to-end B2B qualification and outreach workflow. Let's see what it is. Here is the workflow we are going to build. We will start from a list of contacts. We import these contacts. Then we will have a web research in order to get fresh information about the company of the profiles in our list. Then we have a qualification step where in our case we will see if our contacts are in line with our ECP and offer. So in our case the offer is an AI investment webinar that we want to offer to our ECP. Then we are going to generate a personalized message in order to achieve the best result in terms of response. And at the end, we are going to verify the email of the list, and we are going to export the data for the tool such as Instantly Smart Lead LAM lists in order to send automatically all these emails. At the end of the course, you will have built this workflow in your local machine, but mostly you will know how to design and build your own workflow for whatever is your needs. To build this system step by step, we are going to cover 12 essential building blocks. And the first one is what we are looking now, and in particular it's just to be aware of what we need to learn in order to build these kind of systems. The second is about LLMs and automation basics. So we just see what they are, why they are important, and how they combine together, and which is the advantage of using them together. And number three is the configuration of the workspace. This is already a practical lesson where we will talk about the environment we will use to build the workflow. So in particular, we will talk about terminals, about project structure, about viewer, etc. In lesson number 4, we will see how API works. So how we can use third-party services with a model pay as you go. So we just connect to a third-party services through this key, which is called API, that help us to use their service. Then in lesson 5, we are going to see the architecture of a workflow, how to design a workflow, which consideration we have to make before to start, and how to actually build it. In lesson number 6, we are going to see the input data, how they have to be structured, and which is their characteristic, and where we can find this input data for our automation. In lesson 7, we are going to talk about the context, which is very important when we build a workflow, but in general in AI. In lesson 8, we are going to see how and why to implement a database. We will see that databases are probably the best way to manage tabular data, and we will see why, we will see how to build, and we will see how they work. In lesson 9, we will see how to prompt for create a workflow. there is some particular attention we should have when we prompt in order to get the best from each step of the workflow. In lesson number 10, we will see how to test and debug an automation, because as you know, AI may hallucinate or just give a wrong results. So we need to test and debug, and we will see this in this lesson. In lesson 11, we will see instead how to refine and optimize your AI workflow. To get the best result, we will need to iterate sometimes in order to get the best result, and we will see how to make in an efficient and effective way. In the last lesson, instead, we will wrap up and we will see a use case that I personally experienced using this exact workflow in my real work life, and I will share with you which are my results, which are the lesson learned, and the pros and the cons of this particular workflow. Now you might be thinking, Michele, this sounds great, but how much is this going to cost in subscription and API fees? Don't worry, I designed this course to be practical and accessible to everyone. You don't need expensive subscription. I will show you how to simple set up using pay-as-you-go API calls, meaning that you can complete this entire course and building your workflow with just a few dollars. We have a lot to cover and I'm excited to do it with you. But before we move to lesson number 2, I have a couple of more things. First, for any question about the roadmap and the workflow, so what we have seen until now, just drop in the comment, I will answer personally. And subscribe the channel if you don't want to miss the next lessons. Number 2, for companies and teams. If you want to fast track the adoption of AI workflow in your organization, I run live workshop where we build together with your team customized workflow for your needs. And if you want to know more information, here is the QR code for my WhatsApp, or in the comment you find all the information. I look forward to see you to the next lesson, and in the next lesson we will talk about LLMs and automation. See you there!